I'm Jade McNeil and welcome to the B-Space podcast, your bi-weekly dose of business and property realness. No hype, no fluff, and definitely no BS. Just honest conversations about what it really takes to build something from nothing. Hello. Welcome back to my lovely podcast, the B-Space podcast. So this one is going to be a short and sweet, very relevant episode from me. About a topic that's come up for me actually with clients quite a lot recently. So I thought I'm going to jump on the pod and kind of summarize the topic and kind of what my advice has been back to my clients, because I think it's relevant for every business owner and is, something that's coming on a weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly basis for us all. So it's important that we manage. What I'm talking about is the ability to be able to make tough decisions. Now, this could be, should I hire? Should I fire? Should I keep? Should I sell? Should I stay as I am? Should I grow? Should I diversify in some way? Should I make a change? Like always, tough decisions, difficult decisions have got to be made at some point. So how do we manage that then? How do we manage those moments when you just know that you've got to make the call? Well, ultimately, number one bit of advice, you've got to dig deep. Only you know what is a priority to you. And hopefully you know what the bigger picture is that you're trying to build and why you're trying to build it. And if you don't, you need to work on that first. But if you do know that, you've got to dig deep and you've got to listen to your inner instincts of which direction that you should take, because it's always there. The answer is always there. Whether you choose to acknowledge it and you go with what seems to be the more logical approach or might make someone else feel better, that's a different story. But within you, take a moment, pause, you've got the answer. Should I start this new business? And let's use that as an example. Okay, let's pause and think, if I go and do that, realistically, have I got the time available? No. Will I make sufficient amount of money? Probably not. Would I like to do it and have a go? Yeah. Will it mean it will take me away from doing the thing that I love? Yeah. Well, there's your answers then. Probably not now is the time to start the new business. I'm not saying never, but just when the time is right. Actually, a brilliant example of that is the Builder's Yard. So the Builder's Yard is our newest business, which was launched last year, October 2024. That is at the moment one retail store of building materials, and we are just in the motions of agreeing second site in Nottingham. So that's looking to grow. Now, a bit of personal background about that. My husband Tim wanted to start that years ago. And we've had the conversation over the years, and it's just been, not now. Like, do it, please. You can definitely do it. I think it's a great idea, but not now. And the reason it was not now for us is because our financial circumstances were different. Building your own home, building the property portfolio, just things were just different. Building the building business, actually. I mean, that's a beast as it is now, but it's not always been that way. And it's just never felt like the time was quite right. Like, we could probably never give it the headspace that it required. And actually, sort of 2024, when he was like, I really want to do this, well, actually do it then, because building business is in a good place, property development's in a good place, the house is relatively finished. I mean, if you live with a builder, your house is never actually finished, but we personally, I feel stable, kids are a bit older, yeah, great, go for it, do it, but it takes sensible digging deep to go, now might not be the right time to do that thing. But if you've got a question now in your mind as you listen to this, right, and you're like, oh, should I do the thing, or should I sell it, or should I buy it, or should I hire, or should I fire? Pause me, ask yourself that. If you're in the car, wherever you are, pause me, ask yourself the question, because you're going to give yourself the answer. I recently had a session with one of my masterminders who's a very established business owner, got a lot going on, and they are looking to potentially restructure internally, but it was not an easy decision for them to make on an emotional level, because of the years of building the business with certain people and so on and so forth, And one of the things that they told me that they'd done is that they had actually spoken to some, business owners that they'd known, older business owners that they'd known and that they're connected to over the years, and they'd taken advice from and kind of got their insight into how would you potentially restructure this? What would be your approach? And I think why I'm sharing this with you guys is because often when we have to make, difficult decisions, tough decisions, it's so valuable if we've got people around us that we know and respect, that maybe kind of be ahead of us in business terms, to be able to ask those questions like, have you been in this situation before? What did you do? And what would your advice be? So like having, consciously building that close network of people you trust as you're building your business is so, so, so important, because they've been there, done that, worn the t-shirt, and this is what happened. Ultimately, in that situation and in many situations, sometimes you've got to be tough. You have. We all want to do right by other people. We all want to grow a positive culture. We all want to make a positive impact. Of course we do. Well, I hope everybody that listens to this podcast does. Of course we do. But sometimes we have to make tough decisions because we are navigating the ship, as it were. And that's okay, We've got to do it for the greater good of the thing that we're trying to build and what makes us happy. This episode of the B-Space podcast is kindly sponsored by the wonderful people at Landlord Furniture Co. Specialising in a huge range of high-quality bespoke furniture, Landlord Furniture Co. provides durable pieces designed to last in your rental properties. If you're searching for the perfect furniture to attract professional HMO tenants, or need more resilient pieces for your student accommodations, considering cost-effective furniture packs for a larger property, or looking for something more personalised to elevate your serviced accommodation brand, whatever your need, Landlord Furniture Co. will craft a solution for you. You can say goodbye to rubbish old flat packs and start investing in a luxurious experience for your tenants. Backed by a 3-year warranty and exceptional customer service, they really are the smart choice for any landlord or property developer out there who takes their properties, their tenants and their business seriously. So ready to transform your spaces with Landlord Furniture Co. and ensure that your investments stand out in the market? Visit Landlord Furniture Co. today at www.landlordfurnitureco.co.uk, or you can head to their showroom, which is in Oldham, or find them over on Instagram at Landlord Furniture Co. Now, let's get back to the episode. So sometimes you've got to dig deep and you've got to be tough. And ultimately, you have to put yourself first in the mix. You have to be able to strong enough and say, look, things as they are not making me happy. It's putting too much pressure. It's not what I want to do anymore. I want to evolve into something else. And I want to put myself first. That's okay. Do that. Because guess what? Like, the whole reason why you started this thing in the first place was because you wanted to create yourself a certain level of income that, for a product or a thing that you're passionate about, that could give you the lifestyle that you really would love to lead. And often our businesses that we create are our passions. And if, it's not kind of working anymore, it needs to change or things need to be altered, that's okay. You are allowed to be number one in the mix, because at the end of the day, the buck stops at you. You've got to have the answers financially. You've got to pay wages, salaries, rents, mortgage lenders, whoever it may be. They're coming for you and you alone. So you've got to protect yourself, in the mix of making your tough decisions. And that's all right. That doesn't make you a bad person. That makes you smart, and that makes you forward thinking. So do not feel bad about putting number one first when you've got to make a tough decision. Ultimately, you've got to protect what you've built, but you also must understand what's going to happen next. So I make this radical decision, this tough decision, but then what? What am I doing? You've got to have a plan. You've got to understand what comes next, and you do have to have the answers for people. I obviously protect yourself, but also have the answers at the same time. It's really, really important. But you must protect what you've built, because you are the founder that had the idea in the first place, and you need to always protect that. And also remember that sometimes the thing that we've started is not the thing that we're going to end with. No decent business of any type, anything stands still. It always evolves and grows, because if it's doing a good job, naturally it creates more opportunities for itself. So although you may have to get rid of one part of it, it's because you're allowing another part of it to grow and evolve, which continues that brand story. It continues it. So never be afraid to make a tough call for the greater good of what you're trying to build, where you're trying to get that brand to. Ultimately, building something from scratch is hard. And I know, you might follow me or be part of my wider world of business connections, and we feel like everyone does what we do. They don't. Most people are not self-employed, have not built something up to 6, 7, 8 figures, whatever. But with that, there are times when it is tough. It is tough, and you've got to have the answers. But you've got to remember why you started it. That's so important, and always come back to that and make sure that everything and all the decisions that you're making are absolutely aligning to it. But just know from this episode that it's totally natural to, when you get to that point with any business where tough decisions have got to be made, that it will feel uncomfortable, and you're not supposed to have all the answers. Nobody does. We're growing, right? So that means if we're growing into something new. We've not been there before. So this is where, leveraging that trusted network of experienced people around you to just be open and have the conversations, and just be honest about how you're feeling about it all, and what this could mean and what the implications could be. Because let me tell you, with the person that I've referenced before, once we had the conversation, you could almost see the weight lifted from their shoulders. To say, actually, just talking about it and saying it out loud has made me feel so much better. So be honest, be open, and be transparent with those around you that you can really, really trust, because it's inevitable that you're going to have to make tough decisions that might feel a bit off. But you've got to remember why you started it. So yeah, there you go. A short and sweet episode from me today, but I feel really relevant, and I feel times are hard. Times are hard across the board as a self-employed person. Social media is getting tougher. It's getting much more ruthless. And we've got to be on our A game. And it's sometimes not, for lots of people, not the most natural place for them to be successful. And yeah, there's a lot going on for us all at the minute, and it can feel quite overwhelming. So when the points naturally come where you've got to make the call, you've got to make a tough decision, it's really important to dig deep, take advice from people that you can trust, be tough, because you're going to have to be at some stage. You can't please everybody. It's just not the way it works as a business owner, I'm afraid. And put yourself first, and remember why you started. That's a wrap for another episode of the Be Space podcast. I've been your host, Jade McNeil, property developer, mentor, and business coach. Don't forget to subscribe on your favourite platforms. And until next time, remember, don't believe the hype, and always keep it real.